What it do, what it do, what it do. So, welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host, Tasha Pierce, and this is the Midweek Meltdown where we're going to talk about some of the big stories in this week's entertainment news. I know y'all saw the thumbnail, and if you didn't, we got some Batfleck talk to do today. You guys been hearing about that little bombshell kind of interview that uh, Ben Affleck did with his best friend was conducting the interview. So Matt Damon conducted the interview, but we saw a very, I guess he was being very candid, Ben Affleck, and I'm kind of glad that he did hit us with that raw. Tell us the raw truth, because there is a very loud, very vocal faction who wants to see uh, Ben Affleck return as Batman to the DCEU. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about how Pixar is seeing red, really, really mad at Disney. Well, maybe not everybody at Pixar. That's me being sensationalizing it. But we're going to get into that too. Uh, Before we get into all of that, though, what it do? You can say hi in the chat if you are here. Let me know that you are in the house. Uh, Also, hit the like button. As you trickle in, everybody hit the like button, please. And thank you. Um, so, yeah, wasn't an awful lot, like a lot of the big stories since this new year has started has really been death. And, I am really up to my neck. I know we can't do anything about it. People die. People do die. So the big stories, what it do, Lysandra? The big stories have all been surrounding death. But you know what? I do want to say uh, just a blanket rest in peace to everybody who we've lost since we all got back together again here at the Midweek Meltdown. That's to include Sidney Poitier, Betty White, Bob Saget, which broke my heart. There were some directors of movies. It has been a busy couple of weeks here, a very busy couple of weeks with people passing away. Not trying to, um, I guess I'm not trying to be a downer today, even though I know it's part of life, right? It's part of life. So, I, while I'm standing here talking and trying to stall for time, because I'm always doing that. Uh, I'm stalling for time, trying to give people an opportunity to get their butts in here if they're coming, but at the same time, trying to pull up the stuff that I want to show you guys today. So yeah, I gotta, let's see which is which. So yeah. So other news. Some of our, we you know what? I'm just gonna run through that as we're I'm gonna run through it as we come to it, because I find myself getting ahead of myself already today. Oh, that's the wrong one. Excuse me. That was the wrong one, y'all. I apologize. Uh, yeah. I hope we get a couple more in today. I guess we need to keep our minds. Remember the other day I was asking for prayer for people, mainly Reinhardt, Lysandra. We're in need of people to keep them lifted. But now it's D. Now my friend Davina, her husband had COVID, and kind of like a flu like case. That's the way he was feeling, and I knew it was coming, but Now she is displaying symptoms, so this thing is moving around. So another group that we need to keep in our minds, her and her husband, keep them in our minds as well when as it pertains to praying. Oh, I think I might be ready. So yeah, we're saying bye bye to that Batfleck idea. We got Pixar seeing red at Disney. So let's just go. Before we get into all of that, we got some new movies that released. Uh, thanks, Lysandra. We got some new movies that's been released on streaming. So available to stream this week um, on Apple TV Plus. And if you've got Apple TV Plus, I'm saying please watch it because I don't have that streaming service. Apple TV Plus, Tragedy of Macbeth. Watch it for me. Watch it for me. We got Black Bear on Hulu. I'm supposed to kind of be telling y'all what this stuff is about, ain't I? Let me see. Excuse me. So, Black Bear is about a filmmaker suffering from a lack of inspiration, retreating to an isolated lake house where she manipulates and controls her hosts in an attempt to create a work of art. I can't believe that I ran across that description, this movie, um, after one of my little higher thoughts where I was just sitting and thinking to myself after I ate an edible. And my thought was, what if we ever get like a true crime podcaster or a true crime enthusiast, somebody who just into true crime too much, and they start to kill people just so they can have stuff to talk about? I don't know. That kind of went through my mind, and I was like, "Dang, that would be something, wouldn't it?" But then this movie is like this. I mean, yeah, this the description of this movie made me think about that after I had that thought, like that she's a filmmaker. She's not inspired, so she goes and creates some inspiration. I think that'd be dope. The next movie that I'm going to describe is the God Committee. An organ transplant committee has 1 hour to decide which of three patients deserves a life saving heart transplant. So, and then 7 years later, the committee members struggle with the consequences of that fateful decision. That was another one that sounded like it would be a good movie. And then last but not least, there's the movie Brazen, the one with Alyssa Milano. Mystery writer Grace Miller has killer instincts when it comes to motive, and she'll need every bit of expertise to help solve her sister's murder. Those are some movies. Besides that, we got Eternals as well that dropped on Disney Plus. So that's some options because I'm not going to the theaters. So one of these movies is going to be the movie that I do for Film Review Friday, if I do a Film Review Friday. I need to get on it because my goal was to do 52 movies this week and 52 movies this year, and I'm 2 weeks behind already because I haven't watched any new movies. It's all been series and that kind of thing. So I got to get myself back to watching movies so that I can be where I need to be by the end of the year. Um, Next is about the movie Seeing Red. Turning Red. I'm sorry. The name of this movie was Turning Red, and it is the third Pixar film that's getting pushed straight to streaming alongside the movies Soul and Luca that went straight to streaming from out of Pixar. And it makes me ask the question, and I guess the question, it would be a fair question: why does Disney keep sending the Pixar movies straight to streaming? So Turning Red is the next movie that's skipping its planned theatrical release and will debut on Disney Plus at no extra cost. So this is not one of those things where you're going to have to pay $30 to see uh to see it first weekend. This is as soon as it comes out, you're getting it for free, as long as you have Disney Plus, and it is coming out in March. But I want to read a little bit of this article from Variety. It says Turning Red is skipping. I read that part. It's a coming of age comedy, and it's skipping its planned March release to debut exclusively on streaming via Disney Plus. It's the third Pixar film. An anonymous Pixar staffer recently spoke to Insider Magazine about the decision. And this person is saying it's safe to say that we're all feeling extremely disappointed. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Until today, we all thought Turning Red would be our return to the big screen, and everyone at the studio was so excited, and about it being this film in particular. So it was quite a blow to them to find out that this is yet another movie that has to skip going to skip the box office to go straight to streaming. People won't get to see it on the big screen, and yeah, it's getting to be a habit, and it's getting to be a habit with Disney and these Pixar films. Now, I'm not saying that I don't agree with why Disney may have done this, and the movie comes out in March. I guess they didn't want to push it. They're wondering, based on where we are right now, how things are going to be in March. Is this something that we really want to risk putting it out and then nobody coming to see it because everybody is avoiding theaters? I get it. But if anybody is going to the theaters, it's the young people, right? Of course, you can't go see Turning Red without your parent if you're at a certain age. So maybe they're factoring in the fact that parents, older people, are not going to the movies as much. And would this be a movie that would pull people out the house and make them go see it? I don't know. And we won't know because now, it's going straight to streaming. But it does look like a cute little movie. I do hope that it does well. And I do hope that people see it no matter how you have to watch it. If you gotta watch it on on streaming, watch it on streaming. Because it's not gonna hurt anything. Support the movie no matter what. Support the people who make the movie. Because other people who worked for Pixar was like, it's not a surprise. We knew that if things weren't right at the beginning of the year, that it would be a possibility that they would push this movie to streaming or change the release date. I kind of halfway wish they would have changed the release date, but I get it. I get it. So yeah, it's like a good news, bad news thing. The good news is you'll be able to watch Turning Red in your home. The bad news is it's going to miss that theatrical experience, that box office money, and we won't know what it could have done at the box office because Disney is not giving it a chance. Even though, again, understandable why they won't. So March 11th is when you will find Disney Turning Red on Disney Plus, and that will be at no additional cost to you. Okay, next, since we were lightly talking about COVID, we got crazy ass Matt Gaetz out there in Florida. Matt Gaetz. We got him. He is gosh, let me pull my article. I think most of my articles are from Variety. I'll let you know if they're not. There are also links to those articles in the show notes if you're ever interested or curious as to where I got my information. So Matt Gaetz accuses Florida Music Fest of requiring vaccine passports. The producers are saying that this congressman is misrepresenting the facts. And let me say this. He is misrepresenting the facts. He's Matt Gaetz. However, after we sit and think and ponder where we are in the midst of this pandemic, we're in a different place. Where we are right now is even people who got vaccinated and did everything they were supposed to do, they are catching COVID. So they, to include me, I'm double vaxxed. It's not even time for my booster yet, but when I get my booster, I will be double vaxxed and boosted, and I will still more than likely get COVID, because once we found out that this vaccine is not effective in preventing the virus, uh, being at large gatherings, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, is a risky behavior. Um, at this point, it feels like we're all going to get it at some point, vaccinated, not vaccinated. The idea now is for us to not get it at the same time, because that's going to overwhelm the hospitals even further. So we're trying to spread out catching the freaking coronavirus. So if we avoid being in close quarters with large groups of people, we could possibly reduce these numbers of COVID-related hospitalizations and give pharmaceutical companies much needed time to mass produce that pill they've been talking about that reportedly treats COVID. But also, this is where I agree with Matt Gaetz. If you're having a music fest and you're asking everybody to bring your vaccination card or have a negative COVID test result, even if I walk in with a vaccination card, I can still be walking in with COVID. So it's not stopping me from spreading this virus because I got a vaccination card. What it needs to just simply be, you need to have a negative COVID test, and it needs to be taken like within 24 hours. You need to have a test taken within 24 hours of having a large gathering like these outdoor music festivals. Uh, yeah, have a negative COVID test. The vaccination card is not going to prove whether or not you can give somebody COVID. So the vaccination card doesn't, to me, it's not a way to get comfortable. So this is where that is the only place I agree with Matt Gaetz, is that when you go to these big events, being vaccinated is not preventing you from getting COVID. So if you don't want COVID, if you try to hold on to the very last minute before you end up getting it, because all of us are going to get it. It looks that way anyway. I can't say that for certain, but it looks like it. If you just want to be the last person in the whole world to get COVID, then you need to continue doing the things that we were doing way back at the beginning of the pandemic, which is wearing a mask, making sure we are cleaning, washing our hands. Washing your hands stops the spread tremendously. Wearing a mask, especially around people who are immunocompromised or are too young to take the vaccination, because if they mess around and get a very rough case of this disease, uh, they will potentially be lost, because we're being protected at least by the little bit of antibodies that our body has made against this virus. So just things to think about, and me actually agreeing with Matt Gaetz. So yeah. And then next, let's see. Now I know a lot of people ain't checking for Joan of Arc and that kind of stuff. And there's a reason why. Because Joan of Arc and those types of stories, for people who are don't have as much interest in history, I like the fact that we are now about to get a Joan of Arc inspired film and TV adaptation that is animated. So I know it's like a docudrama, but it's animated. And I know a lot of people will say animation for this type of storytelling. I'm 100% behind an animated telling of the story of Joan of Arc, because number one, if this one is successful, or as successful as it can be expected to being that it's a docudrama, I think that this will usher in the need to animate more of our historical stories, especially since a lot of history is not being taught in schools anymore. It's a lot of people uh, that's truly against learning the truth about what has gone on in not just this country but this world. So it's a lot of people who are not they don't want you to know. But if there are alternate ways to catch a person's attention, first and foremost, the media that you consume, because we are such a consumer based society, and we consume media at like an avaricious rate. So if we put out stuff like this Joan of Arc animation with this style of animation, we can hopefully uh, introduce children, young folks, or people who otherwise would not watch history movies and dramas. We can, and then we're introducing in a way that they can understand and appreciate. So of course, adults are gonna probably love it too, but I'm really thinking about the kids. I think we need to tell stories, especially ones that they're not going to get at school, in such a way that it makes it interesting for them. So animation is just an awesome way to teach a larger, more diverse audience uh, new docudramas. Give them new subjects that they can talk on, because we've got to put something in front of people with some kind of substance, so that they'll be able to be conversational about other stuff outside of their video games, and uh the little stuff that we might watch on TV that is, it might not be growing our mind. We want to expose young people to stuff that might be beneficial to them. It might even introduce them to something that they like as a profession. We never know, especially if, and I'm thinking of the schools like where I am from, and how a lot of stuff we weren't taught. If you wanted to know these extra things, you kind of had to go out and learn it yourself. And a lot of these kids, with all the information that they have at their fingertips, they still are lacking on certain subjects. History is one of them. We are being taught, not us, our children now are being taught kind of an alternative history, like this alternative universe. This is the way we wanted things to look, so we gonna teach you that this is how it happened. Just because you teach me that's how it happened, don't make it so. So Joan of Arc is just a start. Hopefully, if this thing jumps off and does well, we'll get more movies that tell more stories. But again, we know that the Joan of Arc story can be a little heavy. She did get burned at the stake, but but it still gives these kids an opportunity to learn something that they might not have learned, because people are starting to bury history. Something to keep in mind. And then remember, just a few weeks ago, uh, I was talking about a Zorro movie, or was it a Zorro movie or show? It was being done with Wilmer Valderrama. And now here we see, and it was being done in conjunction also with Disney. So let me look at that. Look for that Wilmer Valderrama uh, Zorro. So yeah, now we got a whole different group of people making a Zorro series. Yeah, so This one is going to be about a woman, though. There's going to be a woman Zorro figure. But we got two now. We got the one that Wilmer Valderrama is doing for Disney, and then we got the one now that what is his name? Gosh, last name Rodriguez. Got a sister named Rebecca. He and his sister Rebecca are putting this thing together. And now I got to find out his name because I just lost my whole thought. Robert Rodriguez. Robert Rodriguez and Rebecca Rodriguez, brother sister team, they're doing this for the CW. So I'm like, how many Zorro shows do we really need? And do we need them all like at the same time? It kind of goes back to where we were talking a few weeks ago that this Western and the Western style shows are regaining popularity. Westerns, uh, like The Harder They Fall, The Power of the Dog, those movies. We saw The Mandalorian. We see The Book of Boba Fett. Those have a Western vibe. We are seeing a Western influence once again on what we are consuming. And that's going I'm going to come back to that thought. Hopefully I remember to when we talk about our next subject. But yeah, so in Zorro, a young Latinx woman is seeking vengeance for her father's murder. She joins a secret society and adopts the outlaw persona or of Zorro. And in the other series that I was talking about, Wilmer Valderrama is going to star as Don Diego de la Vega Zorro. And it's coming again for Disney. I don't know if we got a date for this. We don't have a date for either one of these movies or one of these shows, I don't think. But the bottom line is, number one, the popularity of the Western is swinging back around, the Western and Western adjacent movies. So if you are a lover of the Western, then you are going to be inundated with good. I ain't gonna call it good. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not, but you're gonna see a representation. We've already seen some pretty good representations of the Western done with Black people. You know, a Black cast with a more diverse cast with an all white cast with, and now we're going to see Zorro, and it's going to be done with a Latinx view on it. And oh, and I'm also seeing news, and this has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. That I just pulled an article, and it's there. Then Netflix is going to have back-to-back Red Notice sequels. So if you were a Red Notice fan, you're going to see they're going to film both of those sequels back to back. So we know we're going to get at least two more installments of that movie. Uh, now I'm trying to make sure that there's no date for the Zorro series that's coming out on the CW. And you know, the CW is being sold. So I don't even know whose umbrella this is going to end up being up under right now. We know CW is affiliated with Warner Brothers, Discovery, HBO. They're in that same family. But now we don't really know what's going to happen with the CW because they're putting it up for sale. I would not be surprised. I'm not going to even say that. Let's say I wouldn't even be surprised if Disney bought it. Disney owns every damn thing. Uh, so the CW show, they try to make sure that they say that they have been working on this show since 2019, 2020, so that they can like kind of distance themselves from the Zorro thing that's going to be on Disney Plus, because they're like, oh yeah, we've been working on it longer. We're almost done. Disney just getting started with theirs. Look, if you guys want to put out two competing Zorro shows, have at it. Just make sure that they're good, because we're gonna watch whichever one is the better show. Whichever one is the better show and or movie, we're gonna watch it. So do a good job, CW. Do a good job, uh, Disney. and let the viewers decide which one that they want to gravitate towards, which one they want to watch. And next, before we get to because we were talking about Gal Gadot in this in Red Notice. She is just everywhere because we're going to see her also in a remake of one of my favorite Alfred Hitchcock movies. Now, if you're not a big Hitchcock fan, I understand it, but if you're not a fan of Hitchcock because you've not watched the old movies, do yourself a favor, watch the old movies. I'm not going to say I've watched all of them. I watched Alfred Hitchcock had a show kind of like Twilight Zone-esque back in the day, way back in the day, long before I was born. But I fell in love with the show. And then I don't know how I found out that he was like this prolific director. This is when I was a young girl now. So I find out he's a prolific director. I started watching his movies. He did some fantastic work for it to have been back in the 50s, the 60s. The stories that he was telling are very timeless stories. And that's why they can remake a movie from way back in 1955 that had Grace Kelly and Cary Grant as the stars. We talk about way back to old Hollywood. That's why they can remake To Catch a Thief. Because the story itself, if they don't tamper with the story itself is a timeless story. And of course, we don't get the elegance of a Grace Kelly or a Cary Grant, but Gal Gadot is an elegant figure. She is a beautiful woman. She has been stretching her acting where she's not allowing herself to pretty much be pigeonholed as just this one thing. She is a gorgeous woman, a good actress, and she's all over the place. We just talked about the Red Notice movie getting 2 sequels ordered up. Well, of course, she was a key figure in Red Notice. Then we got her coming up as the evil queen in a Snow White movie. So we got a lot of different ways that we're going to see Gal Gadot. She is going to again prove that she is more than just a pretty face. And I can't wait to see this Catch a Thief remake. It's in the works, coming out, I believe, with Paramount. Let me see. Got to make sure what studio is putting that to Catch a Thief. I think it was Paramount though. Oh, and she's also in that movie that we've been waiting for forever. The one that they've been I thought they was kind of holding back because Armie Hammer. Remember Armie Hammer? He got a little problem. He's been laying low though. He at least he's understands that he needs to lay low. But yeah, so this movie had Armie Hammer in it, and it basically, when Armie started getting his little problems, people wanted to kind of distance themselves from him. Well, she is in that movie, Death on the Nile. That's another book adaptation, and it is from another one of my favorite authors back in the day, which was Agatha Christie. Now, Agatha Christie, I wasn't born when Agatha Christie was writing books and out here doing her thing, but books live forever. Your works of fiction live forever, and I really got into Agatha Christie. So, anywho, Gal Gadot is in that movie as well, Death on the Nile, and she is going to be doing this Catch a Thief remake, and it is being set up at Paramount, the studio behind the original To Catch a Thief. So she is going to produce it. Gal Gadot is. She's producing it with her partner, Jason Varsano, through their company, Pilot Wave, and Neil Moritz, who is also somebody she worked with in the past. Neil Moritz is going to also produce. So here we are. good luck with that, Gal Gadot, because I'm a fan and I'm looking forward to it. Our next topic. Now we're going to talk about this interview that Ben Affleck did with E Magazine the other day. And I was kind of glad that he got this shit off his chest. I was kind of glad he got things off his chest. We know that there is a big separation in the fandom. There are like certain factions in the fandom of the DC movies in the DC extended universe. Okay, here's the first faction. A person like me. I'm gonna put myself in my group of people who think like me in the first group, and that is we are fans of the characters. If you put out a good product, we're going to support it. If you put out enough bad products, we're going to have to give it a little side eye before we support it, but we'll still support it. And by that I mean I went to go see every DC movie at the movies. I walked away feeling good out of some of them. And I walked away feeling ambivalent out of others. But the bottom line was I was never blown away. And I don't have a connection, a personal connection with any of these characters. You can take it or leave it. You can move a person. I got a personal connection to the characters, but not to the stories that Warner HBO has been telling with them. Or not HBO, Warner and DC. I'm not a fan of the stories they're telling with the characters that I love. But I'm still gonna support. I'm gonna give it a chance. If it comes out at the movies, I'm giving it an opportunity. I'm gonna give it a chance. My expectations are rarely super high. The biggest and most pleasant surprise of the last few years was Shazam for me. Very pleasant surprise, and how much I like that movie. So that's me and people who are kind of like me. Then we have another group of fans who are just super fans of everything done, everything DC. They can't do anything wrong, and I'm not mad at that. That you're a super fan. Stay in your, super fan. Stay there and there. Then you got this third group. This third group of people say that they are fans of the characters, say they are fans of the stories, but they want to dictate who plays the characters and who tells the stories. That's a problem because guess what? They make far more noise than the other two groups. The super diehards who are going to just be down no matter what. I understand it because I'm that way now about Marvel. I'm down no matter what. I also understand group like me. As long as you do this thing right and you tell a great story, I'm in. I get that too. But this little group of people who make all this fucking noise and they really are not fans. They fans of stuff as long as you do it their way. And that's not a fan, that ain't a fan. So they've been making all this noise. We want Batfleck back. Bring back Batfleck. Release the Snyder Cut and all of this foolishness. And just like this little group that's starting to make a whole lot of noise in the Marvel MCU universe saying, hey, you guys need to bring back Andrew Garfield, make Amazing Spider-Man 3, blah, blah, blah. Have we ever even considered that the people that we are trying to force a company to make a movie with, have we ever even considered that they don't want to make these movies anymore? And that is where we are with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck sat down with his best friend, Matt Damon, and they had a conversation, an interview for EW. And I like the way the EW did it because I believe that Ben Affleck gave answers to Matt Damon that he would not have given to any other reporter. So he's saying that he really had a nadir experience around the Justice League for a lot of different reasons. Not blaming anybody. There's a lot of things that happened, but really what it was that I wasn't happy. I didn't like being there. I didn't think it was interesting. And there's some really shitty things, awful things happened. But that's when I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. So, hey there, Cass. You read this article as well. It was a good article. Uh he had far more to say than just about this, and we're going to touch on a couple of other things that he said. I wanted to start with this because it's like, the experience that a lot of people said that they had on the set of that movie, it seemed like that experience started with Joss Whedon's arrival, right? But then what it seems like Ben Affleck is saying is that from the beginning he wasn't happy. He wasn't accustomed to the way things are done, I guess, on these types of movie sets. So he learned a lesson. He learned that he's not interested in doing that anymore. So all of these people who are yelling, making all of this noise, saying, "Bring back Ben Affleck. He's the only person who can do this and that." He don't want it. He does not want it. And I don't blame him if he had a bad experience with this superhero movie. He did one for Marvel, or was it a Fox Marvel property or a Fox Marvel movie? Um, was it a Fox Marvel movie? Not yeah, when he did Daredevil. Daredevil was his first foray into doing the superhero stuff, and Batman. And I'm telling you, I was shocked that they casted him for Batman because of his age. And I know that's very ageist. But yes, because of his age, because you weren't going to get very many years out of him being active in the cape. And then now here we are, we're seeing Michael Keaton putting the cape back on. So I guess if they had planned these types of stories from the beginning, then Ben Affleck was the right age if they were planning to tell these kind of stories from the beginning. But Ben Affleck was the best looking as far as uh, embodying what we would think Bruce Wayne slash Batman would look like. The build, that jaw, he has the perfect jaw for the cowl. Perfect. So I was excited for to see what Ben Affleck is a fucking Oscar winner. So yes, I was excited to see what he could do with the character, but I did question, like, he's a little bit up there, But okay. And Kaz was saying he really wants him to be happy, but he's gonna miss Batfleck. I get it. I oh, you said you would cast Affleck as Jaws for you Kevin Smith fans out there. Don't know who Jaws is, except for the the shark. But yeah, so he is making it clear in the nicest way possible that he don't want to do these movies. So it's kind of like, shh, shh, shut your mouth, shush, stop bringing my name up in that freaking circle of conversation about the Snyder Cut bullshit. Just keep my name out of it because I don't want to do this anymore. It was good to get that experience out of that, but I don't want to do that anymore. And that's between him with Daredevil. I'm thinking his experience was probably not as good with that because that was one of the worst adaptations. Yes, it was. I enjoyed it at the time, but then it doesn't hold up over time. And then you had this experience over here with DC with Batman. We have soured that man on those kinds of films. Plus, Ben Affleck got big ass stories to tell. There's a movie that he's doing right now. the Tender Bar that he's promoting by George Clooney. George Clooney was the director, and Ben Affleck is starring in it. These are the types of movies that I associate with the Ben Afflecks and the Matt Damons, meaning every actor has taken a role that turned out to be a clunker, but when Affleck is at his best, it's not in like the comic book type roles. It's not in those action type roles. And I mean, I'm thinking Armageddon. I'm reaching. Bat rips or bat nips. I'm sorry. Was Clooney bat nips or was the other one? Was it Val Kilmer? But I remember that ugly suit. I mean, I thought it was ugly. Maybe somebody else might have liked it. But going on, because we know that Ben Affleck, being a Academy Award winning director, a very storied and award winning actor. Now, for the last 20 some odd years, he's been a Hollywood insider. So he got his fingers on the pulse of what might be going on in the movies as far as how people are consuming them. He might have a better insight than most lay people when we talk about what will be the best way to consume new movies. And one of the things that he said was that I think movies in theaters are going to become more expensive and eventized. They're mostly going to be for younger people and mostly about, hey, I'm so into the Marvel Universe. I can't wait to see what happens next. And there'll be 40 movies a year theatrically, probably all IP, all sequel, all animated. So that sounds like a very grim, very grim outlook on what he thinks that is the future of the movie theaters. But I am inclined to agree with him. The movie theaters hopefully don't go away, but they're going to. It's going to cost more to go to the movies eventually, and they're going to have to make something huge around these big movies that come out, and I don't find anything wrong with that. Because what he also said is that, uh, for instance, a movie like Argo that he did years ago, but not so long ago that it's like ancient, just a few years back, Argo. He believes that if it would have come out now, it wouldn't have come out in the theaters. It would come out as a limited series. And he seems okay with that. He seems okay with that being the future of uh of movies, of the way we consume big boy and big girl movies. You know, and trust me, please don't think that I am making fun of the fans of the MCU, because I am a fan of the MCU. Fans of the DCEU, I'm also a fan of the DCEU. But I also know that Ben Affleck is not telling he's not telling a tale here. He knows that eventually you're going to have to make your stuff completely 100% ready for streaming, especially if you're trying to make a more mature, more adult fare. If you want your audience to be over that 35 and over age range, you're going to have to bring your movies and your stuff to streaming. That's the way a lot of us are consuming our media. And some of it is because of COVID, coronavirus. Some of it is because of that. And other parts of it is because um, we've gotten a little bit more comfortable with being at home and binging stuff. We want something to do for not just 1 or 2 hours, but for a lot of hours. so so here we are. with Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck is giving us game. He's spitting the truth. Let me see. And the last thing that I want to share from that interview is when he was talking about the Last Duel. Yeah, yeah, Cass. Streaming at home was coming no matter what, but it just came a lot quicker with COVID, and that is 100% correct. We were going to see the, I guess, the slow merge where these, just what Ben Affleck was saying, that where the more kind of adult fare was going to be coming straight to streamers, and we were going to see a trickle of our movies, bigger movies, coming to streaming services. And COVID said, no, let me help you with that, and stuck its foot on the accelerator, and here we are. And a lot of us weren't ready. I'm still not ready. I still like the big theater experience, and there are movies that I will still only see in theaters. I guess there are certain kinds of movies that were just made for the theaters, and we'll know which one of those movies, we can tell by the way that it looks. Uh, which one of these movies are movies that we have to see in theaters, and which ones will be okay watching on a 45-inch or 50-inch TV in the living room. Just that's the way we have to learn to look at things now, I guess. Uh, and with stuff streaming at home, you have to feel oh gosh, you have to feel that well, I lost my thought. That, yeah, that you're getting your money's worth for what you're paying for those streaming services. So getting those movies at home will be a big deal a little later, especially, and then the movies will also be turned into uh, be able to tell a longer story. Movies that would have benefited from an extra 30 minutes here and there, you can see that being fleshed out far more into a series. So I'm with it. I'm with the shits. Uh, Cass said the Last Duel equals more than just silly haircuts. But speaking of the Last Duel, that is what the last thing I was going to share from that interview. The Last Duel really clinched it for me. This is from Ben Affleck to EW, or his friend Matt Damon. He said the Last Duel really clinched it for me. I've had bad movies that didn't work, and I didn't blink. I know why people didn't go. I also didn't know that these people, they really be realizing already that this movie sucks. They know it before that movie gets put out. So okay. He said, uh, I know why people didn't go, because they weren't good. But he liked what he did with The Last Duel. So he was really proud of it, and he was really confused and thought. Then he said, "Oh, it's doing well on streaming." Well, there you go. That's where the audience is. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain. If you're doing that kind of business, you need to go where your audience is. And if you find that you are getting more of a reaction from the audience in at home, I mean, when they're watching it at home or via streaming, then put your shit in front of the best audience for you. Because part of being a creator is for people to like and appreciate your creations. Um, Cass said, "I would like to get." He wants my thoughts on limited series versus movie at some point, but I don't have to do it right now. I think that is something that's a good conversation. I need to write stuff down though, Cass, because old age. Because it might, I might want to talk about it, but I want to frame it up in the best way possible. Maybe we could talk about this. Limited series versus movies for my boy Cass. So I got it written down. Hey Clarence, how are you? You be careful out there. We now all of us we starting to go down. We're starting to go down one by one with the COVID. I know that I've talked about Lysandra. Davina's husband came down yesterday. Davina is starting to feel it today. So, like I said earlier, it looks like we all gonna catch it, but we ain't got to catch it right now. So make sure you being safe out there, Mr. Brown. So yeah, Kaz, you laughing at me for being old. I'm telling you, it's been such a crazy week. I know I'm old now. I've accepted it. I am no longer in denial. I don't think I've ever been in denial, but now I know for certain I am old. All the stuff that's been happening. So, but yeah, we see that this Last Duel, it really hurt his heart that people didn't go out to see that movie, and I understand. I understand because that wasn't a bad movie, and now here we are. We got a movie that, of course, I guess the choice in the way the story was told is one thing, but people didn't even get to the theater to see the movie. It'd be different if they went and didn't enjoy the way the story was told, but they didn't even go see the movie, and it's because people my age and older were the target demographic. We look at that second group of um of fans that they are trying to reach. And the first group is the 18 to say 34. We know that's a big freaking group. We want that. We want them. But then that 35 to what is it, 55 or something like that, that's where I fall in. And we wasn't taking no chances. So yeah, they found their audience on streaming, and this is why I believe that we are going to see far more movies going straight to streaming. Um, you said you serious about these haircuts. You truly believe it was the haircuts that hampered the business. I couldn't care less about those haircuts when I saw the trailer and saw who was in this movie. It was a very stacked cast. Again, we got a lot of those last year where we got a lot of we throwing everything but the chicken sink. I mean, but the kitchen sink in this cast. And yes, so the cast, I was so impressed. So impressed. And also, I don't know if I've ever said it. I know I've talked extensively about my love for Jonathan Majors and my love for Benedict Cumberbatch. I also got a thing for Adam Driver. So if you there is no, I don't even have a type. I don't have a Hollywood type. But he is definitely a draw for me as well. Adam Driver, you got me. You got me. He's uh a different kind of he has a different kind of charisma, different kind of sex appeal. Uh and yeah, I like him. Every man kind of sex appeal. So I was in with Adam Driver. Then you telling me Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, uh Ridley Scott is directing. You're telling me all of these things and it didn't do well at the box office, but it's because of the demographic of the audience that they were expecting to come out. You really believe? You said the general public isn't mega fans like us. You really think that it turned people off? It might have. Because I guess if you are a younger audience member, it would be like, what the whole I don't know. It was bad bowl cuts and whatnot going on in that movie though. But yeah, I still did like it. And I wish more people would have given it a chance. He said it looks fucking silly. And you getting off your soapbox. That's okay. Every once in a while we all jump on and Oh gosh, I don't have any more slides, I don't think. So yeah, that's my last slide. So, but because I when it's not like when you guys come in at the middle or the end, maybe I need to do my little banter for a little while longer. When you guys come in towards the middle, I have already like zoomed through. I have zoomed through, but there was a couple of other things I did want to share. I did want to share. Um, let's see, let's see, because there was lists. Because y'all know I'm not going to the movies no time soon, right? Once everybody started going down, for instance, um, it started with my sister, and then it moved to Lysandra, then it moved to Davina. When all my homies start going down with this COVID thing, I know I'm gonna get it. So I'm not being I'm not being naive. I know I'm gonna get it. It's just a matter of the when. The when do I get it now? I don't leave the house. I think y'all know that by now that I don't go anywhere. So if I get it, it's gonna have to come to me. But my son and his girlfriend are um are both here, and they both go to work. So there is a chance there's a chance they're gonna bring it to me. And I'm not worried about it. I've done what I can from myself to keep myself safe. So I ain't going to the movies. Yeah, you at the door? I don't know who's knocking. Cass said, "You understand. You still take your precautions as much as humanly possible, but it just seems inevitable." And I believe that. I believe we are in the point of we gonna get it. It's just a matter of when. Hold on a second, guys. Let me go see what's going on out here. Gosh, I had a neighbor uh, just knocking at the door to tell me that my son left the lights on in his car. Oh gosh, but people don't come over here. I don't have company. The only people who come in and out of this house is my son and his girlfriend. And again, that's part of my little okay. I'm a little bit touched, but so I was. It kind of bothered me. Yeah, like Cass. That's what it kind of bothered me. Made me feel like I was walking into some kind of horror trap because I'm like, who is knocking on this door? Because I don't have people over. So I thought it was a horror thing too. I appreciate you though for looking out for me. Somebody would have had to call 911 if I never came back. Oh gosh. And I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, because we're going through this period of okay, what are we gonna do about content? Because going, no, I'm not gonna do. Um, I guess now it's like let's find some things to do that we don't have to leave the house because we're gonna eventually get it. but we don't want to all keep getting it at the same time. That's the big thing. Like it's if 50 of us are in a room, we don't want to all 50 of us get the virus at the same time, and then all 50 of us go to the same emergency room, and all 50 of us need the same equipment to keep us well. We don't need that. We also don't need for 40 people who work at the same place and it's something important, like let's say a water treatment facility. So now we don't need everybody at the water treatment facility to catch COVID at the same time and all go out, because we are not taking the basic precautions. So the basic precautions, if we don't remember, is to kind of still be socially distant, still wear your mask, still wash your hands, uh, and just be cognizant of the fact of the little footprint, the biological footprint that you are leaving when you walk away from an environment. Because just me talking is little spit drops. If it was somebody sitting over there, what I got going on over here is now being shared. And yeah, we just got to remember the small things. You said you're not going in that room with 50 people. Forget that room. Yes, F that room. I'm not going in a room with 50 people. But I know that eventually I'm going to get it. And hopefully it's a mild case. And hopefully, we'll all laugh about it on the other side, just like we laughed at my back injury. But hey, movies, we don't have to take chances on. So there are movies and TV. I was looking at the list on in Variety about the most anticipated new TV shows of 2022. I shared a few of mine the week before last when we did the wrap up for 2021. But yeah, we got some other things coming out, and Bel Air. Bel Air is coming out on Super Bowl Sunday. So that's a show that we could potentially follow, especially since, again, won't be too many movies being done outside for that. So Bel Air was it's like a remake of the 1990s, but it's done of the 1990s Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it is done from like a dramatic dramatic standpoint. Then of course the Boondocks is coming back. It's swinging its way all back. They were supposed to come back in 2020, but that time came and went, and now here we are getting it supposedly promised. We're getting new Boondocks episodes in 2020. Oh my gosh. You said you was watching Macbeth yesterday. A dude had a coughing fit and you were scared to death. I can imagine, but I want to see that Macbeth movie too. I can't do it. I don't have Apple TV Plus, so I can't watch it at home. I can't watch it at home, but I can't go to the movies. Y'all know. So yeah, I really want to see that. How did you like that, Clarence? I think look, I think Clarence, because look, let me make sure, because you was just on your other thing, so I don't know if that's you or if that's somebody else fooling me with your name. You said, I'm looking forward to the Fresh Prince reboot. What has me excited? Just the premise. The premise alone had me excited. I watched the young man's little fanfic type trailer that he did a couple years back, and I thought, that is something different. That is a different way to look at, uh, a story we know so well, but it was told in the comedic fashion. I'd like to see what they can do with it as a drama. Now, am I going to hang on with both my hands? No, I'm not. If it's not good, I got it. On to the next. On to the next one. On to the next one. Freeze. Somebody bring me back some money, please. Yeah, I know Macbeth is streaming on Friday, and I can't see it because I don't have that. But I do want to I do want to see it. And I did at the top of this episode, I did talk about Macbeth coming to Apple TV Plus, and if you got Apple TV Plus to support the movie. So but I just can't. Um but yeah, you said it was interesting. Oh, yeah, still you. Okay. I'm like, if somebody else got that name, I want to know how. How does two people think of that? Uh oh, you said Cass says my logic has swayed him. It could be good. Might be. It could potentially be a real stinker too. It's got it's got a couple of different ways. I know a lot of people are not excited about it. I'm at least prepared to give it a chance. And if it's bad, then I'm on to the next. Yeah, and I agree with you, Clarence. It's got to really be good. And if it doesn't, if it's not good, I'm out of there. I'm out like a scout on a new route. Cass said it was a solid premise for a comedy or a drama. It just depends on who works on it in the end. Yeah, who telling the story? Because it really worked as a comedy for me because of Will Smith's popular. He was already insanely popular. Now that gave people an incentive to tune in because Will Smith, he was already insanely popular after that. Parents just don't understand that song. A lot of us watched it because of that. But then the cast around it, uh, they got so much better over the years. Their timing was getting better and better because they knew each other. So the show, it stands up because of Will Smith. I want to see what they do when you have to rely heavily upon an actor who is new to Hollywood. What are we gonna do? I don't know what this young man's footprint is, where he's worked before. In fact, when I looked up his filmography on IMDb, there was not a lot there. So he's obviously somebody who's new to the game. Can he have the same charisma? Can he carry that role like Will Smith did? And I'm interested to see. I don't think it'll be the same, but at least we can, give it a try just to see. And there's a show called The Dropout on Hulu, and it is talking about Elizabeth Holmes. And y'all know I like to sprinkle my little crime into into my movies. But Elizabeth Holmes was part of the Theranos scandal. I guess we could call it a scam. It was a very high level scam that Elizabeth Holmes uh, bamboozled some of the richest, the smartest people that are in the field of I guess it's more or less the medical tech. Let me see what we're gonna call it here. So the Elizabeth Holmes defrauded the medical community with her plan to revolutionize blood testing without the actual capability to do so. So she was like, yeah, I can revolutionize blood testing. You can just give me a little drop of your blood, not even a vial of your blood. Give me a drop of your blood, and I'll be able to tell you if you got whatever cancer, if you got markers for this or that. And she didn't have the capability of doing what she promised. I can't wait to see this it brought to life in a series format because number one, I can't believe you can let this happen. Uh, I agree she shouldn't be out on bail, but you know how money talks, BS walks. Because you can't possibly tell me that she has run through the billion. She was on her way to being a billionaire. By the time they caught this, she was on her way to being a billionaire. Um, yeah, I want to see now. Kate McKinnon was originally going to star as Home, but Amanda Seyfried is going to play her. Uh, and it is finally set to drop in 2022. And of course, Katie Holmes, I mean not Katie, Elizabeth Katie Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes is now on trial. So, you got to kind of wait till we get some of the end of the story too. So I'm looking forward to seeing number one, how that case ends up. And number two, I'm looking forward to seeing these further documentaries, docudramas, limited series about her, because it's fascinating to me that she could get away with that in this day and age. Like, what kind of magnetic personality does she have to basically bamboozle not just anybody, but people who are richer and smarter? And I say, you know, that whole sex appeal thing again, it has to be because she kind of tried to pull off that androgynous behavior, and she kind of tried to pull off Steve Jobs. She wanted to be the female Steve Jobs. She presented herself just like him. She even talked in that fake low voice, and I know it was fake. And she's a pretty lady. So of course everybody wants to be next to the pretty genius, but until you find out that she ain't a genius at all, or she is one, but just not the kind of genius you thought she was. And we got this first lady coming on Showtime. I guess I could be sharing my screen with y'all. Um, let me see. The first lady coming on Showtime. I'm looking forward to it. I don't have Showtime, but I think I can finagle a way to get to watch this. But yeah, to see Viola Davis playing former First Lady Michelle Obama, and this cast, it's reminiscent of the Obama, or especially Michelle. She's got Michelle's mannerisms kind of down pat, so I like that. I'm interested in seeing what they do with that too, because they're also going to be talking about Betty Ford, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Social Secretary Nancy Howe. So we got a lot of them coming into that as well. Who is this? What movie is this? Fleischman in Trouble. I didn't even. Jesse Eisenberg and Lizzie Kaplan star in the Cabler's limited series adaptation of Taffy Brodesser Agner's novel of the same title. Eisenberg is the titular Fleischman, a recently divorced single dad who is diving into dating apps and finding a surprising amount of success, especially when compared to his more youthful in real life experiences. I'm not a big rom com person. I'm probably, if this is a rom com, I'm not gonna like it. Oh, I can't say I'm not gonna like it. I'm not gonna give it a chance because I'm not a rom com person. Oh gosh. So, but that is still something. If you are into romantic comedies, and have at it. Gaslit is coming on Stars. Uh, this drama promised. Said nobody wants to watch an Eisenberg rom com. I ain't watching nobody's. Very few people's rom com. I can't say nobody's. Very few people's rom com. Oh gosh. Now what is this? Uh, Gaslit is a drama based on the first season of the Slow Burn podcast, and it's the modern take on the Watergate scandal. But the drama behind the scenes has people paying close attention to the title. It was announced that an A-list cast, including Julia Roberts, Sean Penn, and Armie Hammer, again, he shows back up, but Army Hammer's role was recast. Then in July, Penn said, "I'm not I'm not coming to work if everybody ain't vaccinated." And he ended up going back to work, but then people were talking about that for a little while. Anywho, I was just talking earlier about how important it is to me to present historical accuracies, especially in this day and age where there are different versions of the truth. Like we can step off of a timeline where some people really and truly believe things happen one way, and they really believe it, and things actually happen another way, and and a lot of people, um, yeah, a lot of people are not holding on to the truth. So we need to see stories uh, depicting, if you're going to remain historically accurate. Now, if we just go loosely based it, make sure we're saying that, because some people will walk by and think that because I watched it in this movie on TV, this is the way things really happen. Again, this is a weird time we're living in, and you would think that it would be easier to know the truth in the era that we're in, because back in the day it was pretty much you had to rely upon word of mouth, and I'm by back in the day I'm talking way back. You had to rely kind of upon word of mouth and the credibility of the person bringing you the news. But now we are all connected, and we still have the exact same worries, except for now we have it like exponentially multiplied, because everybody is putting out the news, and everybody has an opinion, and everybody, I ain't gonna say everybody, but a lot of people state their opinions as fact. Let's get some history told so people won't forget what really happened. The Last Duel. Yes, we're telling the story from three different points of view. What you said, and what really happened. The Gilded Age. The Gilded Age is a historical ensemble drama set in 1882, and it centers on a young woman who moves from Pennsylvania to stay with her old money aunties. I wish I had some old money aunties in New York City after the death of her father, and then she gets caught up in that kind of class battle involving nouveau riche neighbors, while also befriending a black aspiring writer that works for her auntie. So, um, yeah, that's another thing that we can keep our eye on. It's not something that's buzzing with me, but there is a lot of interest in these kind of ensembles, historical ensemble dramas. So, might be something I watch. Might be. Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. That's coming on Netflix. And it's an anthological series. I love to just be able to walk in and out of a series when I feel like it, and still be able to get some entertainment value without having to know like this long connected story. I like stuff like that. So this would definitely be up my alley, especially since uh, each installment is going to be a new world, and they're going to be like horror or horror adjacent. So Guillermo del Toro, come on. I haven't even seen Nightmare Alley myself. The movie that Guillermo, you know what I'm trying to say, Del Toro movie. I have not seen that. And there's another one. I want to see Nightmare Alley, and I want to see Licorice Pizza. Those are the two that I need to round out my bucket list of movies from last year. There might be a couple more that I'm forgetting. I'm gonna take a look at my list. That was your other two, that Licorice Pizza. But yeah, I'm going I'm definitely interested in Cabinet of Curiosities on Netflix. Hopefully, that's something that we might all show a collective interest in, because it looks like it's going to be good. Or at least we don't have to commit ourselves to week in and week out. We can pop in and out of that series whenever we want to. Halo. This is something I'm not interested in. I might watch it because it's gonna be action and all that stuff, but I'm not interested in Halo. But again, I'm not a gamer, so that it is not striking that chord with me. Uh, yeah, if you're interested or excited for Halo, let me know why. Uh, what about the story? Do I need to know that would geek me up a little bit? Because right now, not so much. I might watch it, but I'm not excited to watch it. House of the Dragon is on HBO. Y'all already know, when you start talking about these Game of Thrones uh prequels or whatever, I got a feeling we're gonna get the same type of audience that we got for the series. I understand, because I never watched the series, didn't watch Game of Thrones, and I'm still thinking I might want to go back and check it out. Um, but there was a lot of people who didn't like that ending, and will that affect people watching that prequel? That's my question for people who did watch Game of Thrones. Oh, you said you was Game of Thrones until the end, but this makes you uneasy. Why does it make you uneasy, Mr. Cass? Let me know, because I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it, but I know a lot of people was really butthurt. And I'm not saying it like butthurt. There was a lot of people who were wholly unsatisfied with that ending. So let me know. Let me know. This show is set a few hundred years before the events of Game of Thrones, following the Targaryen civil war that became known as the Dance of the Dragons. The first season consists of 10 episodes, and HBO execs have been seeing footage come in for months. So while the show might not be right around the corner, its arrival is getting closer. So we don't even know if this is really coming out. Oh gosh. Um, How I Met Your Father coming out on Hulu. Zero interest. I don't think. You didn't hate the ending, Clarence. There was so many people who really didn't like the way that thing ended. So let me know what was people's problem then. You said the ending really came down to a lack of time to sufficiently tell the story properly. I can I can get that. They skipped ahead of the book, so they kind of made it up at the end. Okay. You said the story would have been better told over like another 2 seasons. How many years did it run? Didn't it run a lot of years? Um, I guess maybe HBO was starting to get afraid of it losing the audience. Hurry up and let's just wrap it up. We don't know if we're gonna have this audience around for another 2 years. But then you go and you pull out a prequel on our ass. So there's that. Oh gosh. Inventing Anna. Oh, here we go. If you can get over that, it really is not that bad. It ran for 8 seasons, but the last two were condensed for whatever reason. Okay. I'm gonna try, but again, I get intimidated by that big a body of work. Especially with me doing what I do, watching so many different doggone things, it gets hard to add something new. And it has to be something that I'm just gonna love up front. You said, yeah, it was kind of rushed at the end, knowing how methodical the beginning was. Uh, and then you said you think I would enjoy it over something like inventing Anna. What I also have this real love affair for with crime stories. Now, even though this is not like a brutal slasher type crime, these again, it's a scam, and I'm trying to figure out how in this day and age, in the 21st century, how are these people getting away with these types of scams? And I'm going to tell you without telling you, because I'm going to show you a picture of the actress who was playing who was playing Anna. Because honestly, somebody like this, and be honest with yourself, if I walked in like with this and I went to the bank and said, I'm an heiress and I would like to take out a line of credit in 2022, they're gonna laugh me out that fucking bank. How did this girl get with a false name or a false identity, zero money? All she got is spitting game. She knows what to say and how to act entitled. How did she fool people into giving her the amount of money that they gave her? I'm very interested in Anna Delvey. I'm very interested with this chick. You said your first line of thinking would be, why are you telling me your astrology sign? This girl is truly, I really don't get. Yeah, I really don't get how she got away with it. And yet still, I love stories about that. Like, okay, I don't know how she got away with it, but she got away with it. And yeah, stick it to them. If they stupid enough to give you this money, take it. Now, of course, you're gonna go to jail for a little while, but but you have lived your best life for over, X amount of years, just getting by on your good looks and your gift of gab. And Shonda Rhimes is producing. You say you don't like stories that remind you that men have small brains. It's women as well. Because the chick that she ran with the most, she scammed the shit out of that girl. Had that girl in debt. Had that girl in debt. Um, you said Ozark season 4. Anyone? I don't do Ozark either. Um, and I don't even know if I ever did. I don't even know if I ever gave that show a chance. I can't remember Ozark. I know Jason Bateman, right? I can't remember watching any of it. But also, there are certain series like Breaking Bad, like The Wire, that I didn't get into until after it was all done. It was like all said and done, and everybody was through talking about it. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it now. So that might be one of the things that a show that I will watch after everybody is through chattering. The Kardashian Jenners coming on Hulu next. Crapopolis coming on Fox. I I don't know if this is something that why does this character look like Camille Nanjiani to me? But yeah, I'm not interested in in this. It don't look like, we're gonna read a little bit about it before I say I don't really want to see it. But you said if I liked Breaking Bad or The Wire, you might enjoy Ozark. This is the last season. And that's why I brought those two up. Because I don't know, something about the little drug shows. I do enjoy it. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't get into it as much. Not as much. You said Ozark lost you, Clarence, a few seasons in, but the first season is amazing. And I don't remember. I'm gonna have to. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Probably after it's over, though. Oh, so we got this Crapopolis. which is an animated comedy from Dan Harmon, already has the audience's attention. An animated comedy with voice actors that include Ted Lasso's Hannah Waddingham and What We Do in the Shadows, Matt Berry, has even more eyes on it. But the first animated comedy to be curated entirely on the blockchain puts it in a completely different conversation. I don't know. The show itself is set in ancient Greece and follows a group of flawed humans, gods, and monsters trying to run one of the world's first cities. Don't know if I'm interested in that. We know Law and Order has been on for 300 years. They're bringing back the original Law and Order, though. So the original concept, instead of the Special Victims Union or whatever, organized crime or whatever, this is just the regular procedural that started it all. They're bringing that back. So we'll see. Um, we'll see how that works out. There's that you said it's the unlikely criminal story, the Ozark, and it's really good. And Cass said, could they not think of a better name? Crapopolis. They telling you right in the title. You already know what you know what you signed up for. It's animated. Look at the style of animation. You see what we're doing. It's gonna be crap. And you guys are probably gonna eat it up because it is some crap. They got the League of Your Own, a League of Your Own series coming on Netflix. I mean, on Amazon. 30 years after Penny Marshall's baseball film hit theaters, a streaming version of the story will arrive, inspired by the real life All American Girls Professional Baseball League. You can tell what sport I played. I said basketball right out of the top. The hour long series version of A League of Their Own is introducing new characters, but endeavoring to deliver the same spirit from the classic film. These women will have to carve an original path on the field as they navigate complex relationships and racial issues. Maybe. I can see myself. Maybe. Yeah. You said I love A League of Their Own movie. I might give this a chance because of Nick Offerman. And I might give it a chance just because of the premise. So unlike you, I like the original League of Their Own. So, and I just loved Penny Marshall. So, of course, anything that's based on some of her work or that kind of thing, that will hit my nostalgia as long as it's done well. We're going to see, and especially since it's coming on Amazon, and I can, you know, I can join in and be a part of it because I'm keeping this Amazon subscription at all costs. Might have to get rid of some other ones, but I got to keep Amazon because they got to bring stuff to me. Lord of the Rings. Speaking of Amazon, it's another Amazon, and uh, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. This epic and expensive streaming prequel to J.R.R. Tolkien's titular novel franchise will premiere on September 2nd. Set during the so called Second Age, which is thousands of years prior to the events of both the books and The Hobbit, the drama series follows an ensemble cast of characters who have to confront the long feared reemergence of evil to Middle Earth. And it kind of is giving me some Wheel of Time vibes. So of course I'm in. Of course I'm in. And you know, I like shit like the fantasy, freaking sci-fi. I like that type of stuff. So I'm in. Now, Monarch on Fox. It's a country music family drama. So I'm not big on musicals. I know there are people who are, and if this is something of your thing, they're talking about the fictional first family of country music. So remember, this is not based on anybody's real life. While they are talented, the foundation of their success is a lie, which, if anyone found out, could ruin them since their image is based on honesty. Uh, I know a few people who are going to be very interested in that show. I won't say no names right now. Monster on Netflix. Evan Peters steps into yet another psychologically complex role. Serial killer who? Jeffrey Dahmer. And you guys know that I am, again, a fan of the genre of true crime. Um, oh gosh. Claire says this might be the first year I found Amazon's video offering more compelling than the free shipping, and it seems like it's just getting better. Um, I know Bezos, before he stepped down, he's like, I want the next Game of Thrones. I want this. I want that. If they really put together a real good blueprint of what they're going to do over the next 5 or 6 years, we might be talking about their streaming offerings in the same level of conversation that we talk about, like HBO Max's documentaries and series. HBO Max has been knocking series and documentaries out the park. So it seems like we're getting Amazon is coming for their neck. And I like that type of competition. As long as y'all don't start raising the prices, I'm good. Let things breathe right here. He said if this is a fictional Milli Vanilli story, it could be dope. Um, what is that? We're talking about Monarch. I don't even know. Milli Vanilli. Are they really that bad? Like, now people are getting I know that they were deceptive. I know. They were deceptive in what they did. But now people are getting paid to lip sync battle and all of this stuff. Shit, they was just a few years ahead of their time. Oh gosh, so yeah, we getting a limited series about Jeffrey Dahmer. And Dahmer's story is told through the eyes of his victims, and supposedly won't shy away from looking at the white privilege that allowed him to escalate criminally. Because honestly, uh, you said you heard them sing and they weren't horrible. So yeah, it's just before it became, I guess, popular in vogue to use the auto tune in other ways to enhance your voice when you couldn't sing. If you really couldn't blow, you wasn't getting into the music industry. But now, all you got to have is a certain look, and you're in. Just like that's what they had. They went because they had a look, and that's how they got in. You said it's not high praise. It's not high praise, right? They weren't horrible. Yeah, they probably would have, if they would have come out in the 2020s, and all you got to do is put that auto tune crap. They would be on. They would be on. Um, so it says here, Dahmer was apprehended by the police multiple times and even charged with such crimes as lewd and lascivious behavior, but was let go with fines or probation. He went on to murder 17 individuals. I can't wait for that one. Monster. Moon Knight. Y'all already know. This is an MCU offering. We got Oscar Isaacs, the fantastically talented and absurdly handsome Oscar Isaacs. Um, he's playing Mark Spector. We're gonna get the entire dissociative identity disorder aspect of his character, Moon Knight. I'm here for it, especially being somebody who struggles with some kinds of mental health issues. It's good that we are seeing the explorations of uh, some of these disorders, because it's like, even right now. I'm going to give you guys an example, and I know it's not going to make me sound good, but I can't. So you know that I've got a touch of agoraphobia, and where the anxiety of what's going to happen when I get somewhere or when I leave prevents me from leaving. So I'm accepting that. Um, it's, it, I need help, but here in the United States, you can't get help without insurance. You can't get insurance without a job, and you got to have a certain kind of job to even be able to afford their insurance. That's a whole different animal, whole different story. Um, some of my best friends, even let me say Davina, is like, if I was in Houston, I'd pull you out the house. You think it's that simple? Because nobody wants to, or I'm gonna say, people don't understand the extent to what these disorders will do to you. So if you pulled me out the house against my will, that will fuck me up even more than just what I'm going through in the house. You feel what I'm saying? You said even the help you get is not that great. Never mind, getting back on my soapbox. But yeah, but because we understand our own psychosis, but people don't understand it when it's somebody else's psychosis. And their intentions may be good, but you're adding to that. But anywho, let's bring mental health awareness smack to the center of of many stories instead of just a few. Instead of it just being an anomaly, this story being told, let's make sure that we tell the stories. You said, what are my thoughts on Bo Burnham inside? I'm not 100% familiar. Now, maybe if I got a little bit more context, I would know what we're talking about and why. Let me see. Let me look at this. Bo Burnham inside. I didn't see this. Comedian Bo Burnham shoots and performs a comedy special over the course of a year all alone with no crew or audience. This is something I might need to look at because I didn't see it. Oh, gosh, this actually sounds like something to be right up my alley. Thank you, Cass, for putting this on my radar. I need to write that down too because, scatterbrained. Oh, and I don't know if y'all can see this. So y'all know it ain't me. So that's says hi grandma because we got another little peanut. We got another little baby on the way. We're gonna see. So it's giving me a reason. Uh because things do get dark. And the other day I think I taken my blood pressure and it was like, and don't say nothing. It was like 191 over 115, which I should be dead. And it brand new blood pressure cuff. So I kept taking it to see uh if it was gonna go down, it wasn't really moving. So they're trying to get me to go to the hospital, but I can't. And I know I need to, but I can't. So anyway, um so yeah, that one man show thing, I am going to check out Bo Burnham inside. That looks like it was going to be pretty good. But yeah, they presented me with uh they presented me with the, what do you call it, the ultrasound, because it's like I just needed that reason. I just needed a push. I still haven't gone to the hospital, but I got a grandbaby on the way. So yay. Again, last year they lost one. Was that last year? Yeah, last year they lost one, but I guess I guess they got right back on the horse, huh? Oh gosh. And you say you think it's a commentary on 2020, man. And yeah, I'm in a pickle. I'm in a pickle because I'm gonna go. I'm gonna eventually. I got to But anywho, uh, I got to. We got Miss Marvel coming also. So excited about that. Hope I get better. The only way I'm gonna get better. And I know the things that I got to do as far as my blood pressure is concerned. I need to change my diet. And I was doing well kind of back. I was doing well, and then I just fell back into old habits. I gotta change my diets, I gotta lose some weight, and I gotta put them cigarettes down. I had done all three uh probably in the 2018, 2019, and then 2020 came. And I just just let myself go. So, yep, blood pressure sky high. Cigarettes was right back to I've got the cigarettes again, and and freaking losing weight. Those are the things that I have to do. And but thank you about congratulations for the baby. Uh, we're gonna see. I try not to get super excited, but we'll see. If we get a baby, y'all will see. Y'all will see him or her. They will be part of the show. Trust. Be all of our baby, all of our grandbaby. uh, you said you ordered Domino's and got their new cheese dip today, so you can give no advice on diet. It's okay. What's it, a blue moon? It's just living off of that shit, and that's me. I'm living off of garbage food. Occasionally, I will cook something, but then when you cook in your mind, you cooking. I know I should only be cooking for me, but I cook too much, and then I see food go to waste, and then there's that cycle of I'm wasting food if I cook, and it's almost cheaper to not cook and to just order one meal at a time, and that's unfair because I need to cook more. That Naomi series, I didn't watch none of that yet. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm looking forward to it because of we getting Ewan you know what I'm trying to say. Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen back. You said you think you missed the Taco Bell wings. Look, man, the other day I tried to order some wings. My son gave me some money, and I'm just like a little kid. Immediately, as soon as he gave me this money, I on this app trying to order those wings, but I didn't realize it was rules to this shit. Like you can't get them delivered. That's first and foremost. You can't order them before 2 o'clock. And what was the other thing? You can't get more than I think it was two or three orders at a time. And I'm like, y'all got too many rules. And I used to work for Taco Bell for many years. Uh, yeah, we had these kind of rules and regulations on when you can get food. So I had to get something else because it had those wings. Um, you said you didn't know if this is legit, but I read they were replacing Batfleck with the TV Batgirl. Um, I don't know. There's been a rumor, and the rumor is, and I planned to address it, but it's just so freaking. I hate the toxicity of these types of rumors because they are so afraid of these male characters being replaced by these female characters. So a lot of times they make this shit up just for the conversation. But a lot of times, but then there are also times that this stuff could be true. The rumor is that Flash is going to reset the DCEU, and when in doing so, uh, Batgirl, the one that's going to be from the movie, excuse me, I'm sorry, the one that's going to be from the movie. Remember, they just recently said we're going to take this movie from being a straight to streaming movie. We're going to put that on was that movie? But anywho, whatever the case, I was thinking that they were saying they're going to take that movie and take it from streaming and put it on the big screen. But whatever the case, they are going to supposedly replace Superman with Supergirl, but the one from the movie version, and then Batman with Batgirl, the movie version, and who was the other? Wonder Woman. They were gonna keep, and the Flash and Shazam was supposed to be. If you listen to the rumors, were supposed to be who rounds out the Justice League. And wow, it's so, I guess it's so gratifying to see these freaking nerd boys like implode about the implication that almost the entire Justice League would be would be women. Besides the fun that I have with that, I don't believe the rumor. And I probably won't believe it until I see Flash and I see that happen, because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. You've got I can understand maybe doing one of them, but you don't have to do both of them. You don't have to get rid of Batman and Superman. I hope they got a plan, and I hope it's better executed than the way it's coming across in these rumors. Cass says, I don't care for Batgirl or Ironheart. I like Wonder Woman and Storm. I mean, and that's why I'm like, we need to really. I like Ironheart. Now I ain't about to. I can't front. But if this is the way that DC is going, they really got to have a solid plan, because you're going to alienate. You're going to alienate an entire demographic of people. DC movies needs more than just Wonder Woman. Yeah, they need. I mean, if you really want to know what they need Jesus. That needs to be one of their superheroes. Shucks. And this is what I'm saying, Cass. This is why I'm like, I'm not 100% that I'm buying um what they selling as far as the rumor is concerned. And yeah, we'll see. And especially since the source that I heard this from was the Grace Randolph, and she doesn't necessarily have the best track record as far as being accurate. She hurries and reports. She does have some decent sources, but she hurries up. What they tell her, she wants to be first, so she puts it out, and she looks like she's wrong more than she is right. And that's why I take Grace Randolph, those rumors that I get, and I get it sourced from her. I take it from with a grain of salt. Yeah, yeah, Clarence. You think Cavill is trying to get on that MCU train? I do too. And I think we can use him. Yeah. If you guys didn't want to, if you didn't want to use him in the DC projects, because he was a fine Superman. He was a fine Superman as far as, carrying off the look and what they given him, that wholesome, earnest act. He pulled that off very well to me. So because you couldn't think of or come up with a story for him, y'all letting this man go. Yeah, The Rock as Black Adam, that was on the money. That was on the first and foremost. You want The Rock, period, because what we said all of 2021, Dwayne Johnson put booties in seats. So if you want the booties in the seats, you cast Dwayne Johnson. But the fact that he truly can embody Black Adam, I'm concerned if we're going to get just The Rock being The Rock dressed as Black Adam, or if we're going to actually get him to show us a different side. But I'm super excited to see what he does with this character. I can't I can't imagine it going wrong if they were to have $1 billion entry in the franchise. I mean, if they're going to have a chance, I think they've got two solid chances, depending on how well uh, these movies are done. We got two solid chances of seeing DC movies blow the F up, and that is with Black Adam and the Batman. And there are some will even say Aquaman, but I don't know. We're gonna see how that shakes for Aquaman. But I believe they do have the opportunities to have some big box office wins as long as they make really good movies. You said hot take. Unless the Black Adam trailer is off the hook, I predict unfortunate things. We're gonna see, Kaz. We're gonna see if some unfortunate things happen. I hope not. But I can understand why you would rather gamble and say that things would be unfortunate, because you ain't let down. If you go in thinking this movie is not about to be fantastic, then you are, you the only way you got is to go up. And I hope it works out for us. He said he turned down Fast 10, Clarence, yes. And he said a lot of the speaking points that we came up with when we were discussing that it was manipulative for him to do that, to get on social media and to bring up these children and to bring up Paul Walker. Vin Diesel knew what he was doing, and that wasn't the way to approach that situation. But again, if Dwayne Johnson already told you 100 times, I'm not doing this movie, I'm not getting back in this franchise, uh, I wouldn't have publicly asked him one more time. It would have had to have been a face-to-face private conversation, because it's been so well reported that he had no clue. I mean, he had no intention of going back to Fast and Furious. You said Shazam 2, Black Adam, Batman, jury is out on the next Wonder Woman. And I don't expect, I mean, I thought Shazam, I thought the original Shazam was a very good movie. But I'm not 100% sure that Shazam 2 is going to do well at the box office. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I really did love Zachary Levi in that role, but it didn't do as financially well as they had hoped. And I honestly think it's because people just didn't want to take a chance. It looked a little kiddie. It was a good movie though. It was good to me. Black Adam, Batman, those could be definitely some billion-dollar movies. Hopefully they are done right. And Flash should be good too. But then Flash is now being touted as this kind of Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, a level event. And I'm like, but have we earned that? Have we earned that? It can't be that kind of event without the success of the things that happened before it. So really, is this really what we're going to sell this movie as? Because if that's the case, we don't even know enough about the Flash to feel these stakes. I'm concerned. I'm concerned if that movie is if they're doing too much too soon with doing Flashpoint. Should they have started with another member or different members of the Flash's rogue gallery of criminals? Um, yeah, so we're gonna see. I do want to see it, but they haven't earned it. Cass said, "I love The Rock. I hope things go great for him, but I fear he is not. He is no longer on the uphill climb." And I mean, the crazy thing about it with men is like when women Hollywood starts to look at women differently as they get into uh, their 40s and definitely in their 50s. But as long as a man keeps himself semi together, and by that I mean looking out for his health and taking care of his body, all that good stuff. Uh I think because men get more distinguished with age, that he could get away with a lot for a long time, just off of his charisma, just off of his good looks. Um, he can get away with being Dwayne Johnson, playing Dwayne Johnson for a long time. A woman would not get that same kind of luxury, no matter how well you keep yourself up. Once you get to a certain age, um, women are looked at as expired. And if you don't believe me, look at some of your favorite actresses and wonder where the hell they have been, why they are not being cast as love interests and that kind of thing, because we are past our expiration date at a certain age to a certain segment of society. Um, you said, hell, just be as good as Spider-Man. As which Spider-Man? Oh gosh. Now, yeah, you can say that also. One thing you can say about The Rock, says Clarence, that dude puts the work in, and you can tell. And I mean, of course, when you cast The Rock, you are casting him for that physique as well. So, yeah, put the work in. It is insane the level of discipline that he has to have to maintain that physique or to even improve it. Because I saw a picture of him. I guess he was working on Black Adam. I saw a picture of him and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this dude is just massive. What I don't know what you got to take or do to be that jacked all the time. All the time. And I also see how he like carb loads and the protein loading and that type of the way he goes about his diet. But I'm like, yeah, you got to the way you work out, you gotta load yourself with that kind of with those kinds of nutrients, I suppose. Oh, you're saying you see and agree with my argument as far as the man versus woman going or aging goes, but it is more saturation in role choices. He has not had a stellar past few. So his role choices, you're saying, are getting him in trouble, and that he everywhere. He's everywhere. And again, that's true too. But then that's what they did with Will Smith. They're gonna ride the bankability of this character until they use him up, and then it's on to the next. It's just taking longer with The Rock because he does, as Claire said, he keeps himself uh looking impeccable, and he doesn't overshoot his acting ability with the roles that he chooses. I think Dave Batista is doing a better job of making sure that he's not pigeonholed, but The Rock is doing a better job of making sure that people continuously write a character in that is made just for him because of of his ability to put the booties in the seats. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, when I saw him getting ready for that Hulk Hogan, and Henry Cavill, of course. And Henry Cavill is otherworldly as far as it. I mean, I guess all three of them otherworldly as far as the entire package. But Henry Cavill, to me, of the three, is uh, is able to pull off more characters more believably and still look like that. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh shit, Kaz got another hot take. Oh shoot, let me bring out my t-shirt printing machine for this one. Give me your hot take about Will Smith. Because I guess a lot of people, yeah, yeah, I agree. The Rock is the worst actor of the three. Um, and it's not too late. Uh he can hone his craft, but he's been getting by on being Dwayne Johnson, playing Dwayne Johnson for so long. Why would you change? All you have to do is just stockpile the money at this point and and be ready for what comes next, which will probably be a foray into television or something else. Who knows? If the bottom ever falls out on his acting career. Um, um, you said King Richard. Will Smith will get nominated for Best Actor. Name your dream choice for that role, and they would win Best Actor Oscar. Uh, so you mean like anybody? Are you saying like anybody could have stepped into that role and would have gotten the same? Would have gotten the same acclaim from that role? Let me know if I'm reading this right. If I'm picking up what you're putting down. You said, yes, you're knocking Will Smith's acting. Will Smith has had some terrific turns. He's done some amazing things. And I'm not going to say everything works because sometimes Will Smith can be a little over the top. But I can't say that in the roles where he's playing a person who's supposed to be over the top, we're getting a lot of the Will Smith personality anyway. He knows how to accentuate uh, his already over the top performance with almost accurate, almost like spot on impression of the person. So it's less it's more about he's still being Will Smith. It's always an over the top character to me that he prevails at. For instance, when he did Ali, which he should have gotten an Oscar for. Uh, when he did Ali, um, over the top personality that was Muhammad Ali. We already know that he was the greatest. He was the prettiest. He gave you all that gravitas. So Will Smith is perfect. But then the impression of Muhammad Ali, spot on to me. Spot on. Not as good as Jamie Foxx with Ray, but definitely up there. Then uh then we have this King Richard thing, same thing. Over the top character. I'm gonna match your personality beats. I'm gonna do an impression and I'm gonna be Will Smith. And if that's enough to finally get the man an Oscar, so be it. So Bennett, and let him just move on to the next phase of his career. So yeah. But Ingenue Ellis was also um an overlooked, often overlooked, not all the time overlooked, an often overlooked component to that being a successful movie. Uh, Clara says somebody I follow on Letterboxd has a playlist. Will Smith plays a character who gambles everything on a 1 in a million chance for the betterment of his family. Plays the same character over and over again. And I agree that he has. What was the There was a lot, and I can't think of the one that I'm thinking about. Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah, he's done this quite a bit, huh? You said the number two best supporting actress role in my book of 2021. She did do a fantastic job uh on on that movie. And I think she should be in the conversation. Um Man, it's just been those women put on some performances last year, let me tell you. It's a lot of performances that I would love to see everybody get a participation award for being in movies instead of only having to pick one. But that ain't this. You only one person can win. And I'm not 100% sure who I want that one person to be as far as best actress, best supporting. I'm not 100% sure. I have to look again at the stuff that came out. I know that Golden Globes, which has been under fire over the last few years, Golden Globes, what's her name? Nicole Kidman won Best Actress. I don't remember who did Best Supporting, but I didn't have her in the running for big awards. Only because we had some fantastic ass performances last year from these women, from the men too. uh, he said you did. Cass said he did his list today, and none of them will win. I I rarely get serious about picking the big prizes. I wouldn't even try to do every category. But I rarely do that. I rarely do that. I have my thoughts. I have my picks. And because I'm talking more weekly about entertainment, people hear my thoughts and hear my biases, which ways I lean, but I rarely do the list thing because yeah, just it's that piece of paper is telling me that you put this down because you was almost 100% that things was gonna go this way and they didn't. I can see myself tearing the list up and throwing it up in the air because I'm a bad loser. I am a bad loser. So um, yeah, I don't have nothing else. I just sat here and talked and talked and talked. I'm so glad that you guys hung out with me today though, because it was starting to look like I was so low, so low. And I was still going, show was gonna go on, show was gonna go on. But I did appreciate you guys coming in and saving me at the nth hour because now it went from being a 45-minute show to being a 2-hour show. Um, I'm not gonna be here for Film Review Friday. And believe it or not, I made my mind up of that like literally while I've been sitting here. Oh, you had a rare Wednesday night off, and I'm glad I jumped on today so we could talk. Because yeah, and thank you for again for becoming a patron, Cass. It is so in it's I guess it's so humbling to know that people do like what I do. So thank you. And thank you, Clarence, for being here while you work out. Work out a little for me. Oh gosh, I'm gonna fool the world this year though. Watch. I'm gonna get back down to where I was when y'all first met me. But yeah, it has been fun. So thanks a lot for hanging out. I'll see everybody. I guess let's look for Saturday. Saturday and Sunday for sure. I love my Sunday show. Love it. But yeah, Saturday for sure. So thanks for joining me. And if you're looking for more information on how you can keep up with us, you can follow me on Facebook at the After the Snap, the Hangout group, or you can follow me on Twitter. And I guess I'd better show you my Twitter handle. You see it right? No, no, right there. You see it. So there's my Twitter handle. And yeah, thanks a lot for joining me. And I will see everybody on the next broadcast. Peace.